95 degrees. That's all it takes to undo a lawn you spent all spring building. It's early July. The morning is soft and warm. You walk out with your coffee, barefoot, and the grass is still green under your feet. You feel proud of it. Then a dry week goes by. No rain. The sun climbs and just sits there. And one afternoon, you look out the kitchen window and half the yard has gone the color of straw. Brown patches by the driveway, crispy edges along the fence. It crunches when you step on it. I know that gut drop feeling because I lived it for years. Every single summer, same story. And the quiet villain in all of it was the advice printed right on the bag. The friendly instructions in the garden aisle, the little tag that tells you exactly what to do season after season while your lawn dies anyway. I trusted that advice. I followed it to the letter. That was my mistake. In the summer of 2016, I stood in the back corner of my own yard by the old maple tree, staring at a dead patch shaped exactly like the reach of my sprinkler, and it finally hit me. The parts I watered the most were the parts dying the fastest. That made no sense to me. It kept me up at night. Here's what most people do, and I did all three. You water a little every evening because the grass looks thirsty. You cut it short so you don't have to mow as often. And when it starts to fade, you rush out and throw down fertilizer to green it back up fast. 3 moves that feel like caring for your lawn. 3 moves that feel logical. And every year, the same brown result by the middle of July. So today, I'm going to show you 2 things I got completely backwards. The way you water and the way you feed. Fix those 2, and your lawn stops dying in the heat. But there's a third thing, one final method older than any product on that shelf that prevents both problems from ever coming back. It's the entire reason I'm making this video, and I'm going to hold it until the end because once you hear it, you'll never buy your way out of this again. But first, a question I want you to sit with. What if watering your lawn more is the exact thing that's killing it? Let me take you into part 1, the mistake that breaks more lawns than drought ever will, and that's the way we water. I'm starting here because watering feels like the most caring thing you can do, and it's the thing most of us get wrong from the very first day of summer. Here's the situation that fooled me for years. The grass looks stressed in the heat, so every evening I'd flick on the sprinkler for 10 or 15 minutes. A little drink for the lawn, felt right, felt responsible. My neighbor did the same. The bag said, keep it moist, so I kept it moist. Now, here's what's actually happening beneath your feet. And this is the part nobody explains. When you water a little bit every day, the water only soaks the top ½ inch of soil. It never travels down deep. So your grass does something clever and terrible. It grows its roots up toward the water, staying shallow, right near the surface where it's easy to reach. You are literally training your lawn's roots to live in the top inch of soil. Then July arrives. That top inch of soil is the first thing the sun cooks. Ground temperature up there can hit 120 degrees on a hot afternoon, and all your roots are sitting right in that oven because you put them there. The lawn browns in days, not because it didn't get water, because its roots had nowhere deep to hide. So here's the reframe, and I want to be very clear. Frequent shallow watering doesn't drought-proof your lawn. It builds a lawn that can't survive a single hot week without you. The fix is the opposite of everything the tag told me. Water deep and water rarely. Your lawn needs about 1 inch of water per week, and it wants that in 1 or 2 big soakings, not 7 little sips. 1 inch of water pushes moisture down 6 to 8 inches into the soil, and when the water is that deep, the roots chase it down. Deep roots, cool roots. Roots that don't care that the surface is baking. How do you know when you've put down 1 inch? This is the cheapest tool you'll ever use. Set an empty tuna can or a straight-sided cup on the grass while the sprinkler runs. When there's 1 inch of water in the can, you're done. On most lawns, that's about 30 to 40 minutes of sprinkler time twice a week. That's it. And timing matters more than I ever believed. Water early, between 4 and 9 in the morning, not the evening. I watered in the evening for years, and I was quietly growing lawn fungus every night. When grass blades sit wet through the cool, dark hours, fungus wakes up and spreads through the wet canopy. Morning watering dries the blades by midday and starves the fungus of the damp it needs. Same water, different clock, completely different lawn. Here's the old test I now use instead of guessing. Take a long screwdriver, a 6-inch one, and push it into your lawn. If it slides in easily, your soil has moisture down deep and you don't need to water. If it stops short and you have to lean on it, the soil below is dry and hard, and it's time for a deep soak. Groundskeepers were doing that decades before anyone sold a moisture meter, and it costs you nothing. What you stand to lose if you keep watering the shallow way is not just the green, it's the whole root system you built in spring, gone in one hot week, and a water bill you paid to make it happen. But watering right only keeps your lawn alive. It doesn't stop the second mistake, the one that turns a stressed lawn into a dead one almost overnight. And that mistake is the one I'm most embarrassed about. That brings me to part 2, and here's the blunt truth of it. Feeding your lawn in the heat of summer doesn't rescue it. It burns it alive. This is a technically different problem from watering because it doesn't come from neglect. It comes from trying too hard at exactly the wrong moment. Picture it, the lawn's fading, going pale, losing that deep green, panic sets in. You drive to the store, grab a bag of quick green fertilizer, the one that promises results in days, and you spread it across the whole yard on a hot afternoon. I did this more than once, and I watched my lawn go from pale green to scorched yellow in under a week, and I blamed the weather. Here's the mechanism. Most of those quick green bags are loaded with fast-release nitrogen, mostly in a salt form. When you drop salt-heavy fertilizer onto soil that's already hot and dry, it pulls moisture out of the grass roots, the same way salt pulls water out of a slug. The label calls it fertilizer burn. What it really is your lawn dehydrating from the roots up while the sun finishes it off. On top of that, the nitrogen screams at the grass to grow new blades in the middle of a heat wave when the plant has no water to support them. You're forcing a sprint out of a runner who's already collapsing. So the reframe, summer isn't the time to feed your lawn, it's the time to protect it. Most people feed to fix stress. What's actually happening is you're adding stress on top of stress, and the plant can only take so much before it quits. Let me give you 3 ways to feed the right way, cheapest first. Method 1, and this one's free. Stop feeding entirely from the middle of June through the end of August. Just stop. Let the lawn coast through the heat on the roots and reserves it already has. A summer lawn that looks a little tired is not a lawn in trouble. It's a lawn conserving energy exactly like it's supposed to. The cheapest fix in lawn care is knowing when to do nothing. And I wasted years not knowing it. Method 2, if you truly must put something down, use a slow release or organic feed, never the fast salt kind. Something like a light organic granular or a well-aged compost. These release nitrogen slowly over weeks in tiny amounts the grass can actually use without a growth spike. No salt shock, no burn. A thin 1/4-inch layer of compost raked over a struggling lawn feeds it and holds moisture at the same time. It's gentle, and gentle is what a July lawn needs. Method 3, the timing move a pro would make. Save your real feeding for the shoulders of the season. Feed in late spring, before the heat, so the lawn banks its energy early. Then feed again in early fall, around September, when the soil is still warm but the air has cooled. That fall feeding is the most important one of the whole year, and almost nobody does it because by then the lawn already looks fine and they've stopped paying attention. Fall feeding pushes deep root growth going into winter, and it's why some lawns come back thick and green in spring while others come back thin. Feed on the shoulders, coast through the middle, and you'll never burn your lawn again. What you lose by feeding in the heat is the worst kind of loss. You spend $40 on a bag, spend an hour spreading it, and pay for the privilege of killing the grass you were trying to save. If this is already changing how you see your own yard, do me one small favor and subscribe. This channel is for people who want the mechanism, the why underneath the part the garden aisle will never print on a bag. And if you want all of this in one place, you can hold in your hands and work through at your own pace. I put everything together in a set of guides called the Amish Lawn Guide and the Amish Soil Guide, also available as the Complete Amish Yard Field Edition. These are the same slow, proven methods this video is built on, the ones that were never profitable enough to put on a bag. The full package is $97, and the link is in the description below. It's the kind of reference you buy once and use every season without needing to buy anything else. That's all I do here. Subscribe and stick with me, because the last part is the one I wish someone had told me 20 years ago. Now, before I get to it, I want to clear up the fear that's probably sitting in the back of your mind. When your lawn goes brown in July, you assume it's dead. Most of the time, it isn't. It's dormant. Cool season grasses have a built-in survival trick. When heat and dryness hit hard, they pull energy down into the crown, the little growing point right at the soil line, and they let the blades go brown on purpose to save the plant. The crown can hold on for weeks like that. So before you tear anything up, check the crown at the base of the plant. If it's still firm and slightly green or white, your lawn is sleeping, not dead, and the right care will bring it roaring back with the first cool rain. That knowledge alone saved me from reseeding an entire yard that didn't need it. So let me bring you to part 3, prevention. And here it is. The method the whole video was built around, the one older than every product on that shelf. Mow high and leave the clippings where they fall. That's it. That's the thing. And I know how simple it sounds. So let me tell you exactly why it's the single most powerful move you can make, because the mechanism is beautiful. Set your mower to its highest setting. For most lawns, that's 3.5 to 4 inches. Most people cut at 1.5 or 2 inches so they can mow less often. I did it for years. Here's what's actually happening when you cut that low. You strip away the very blades that shade the soil, and you expose the crown and the roots to direct sun. Now here's the number that changed everything for me. The soil under tall grass, 3.5 inches or more, can run 10 to 15 degrees cooler than the soil under short grass on the same hot day. 10 to 15 degrees. That's the difference between roots that survive and roots that cook. And it goes deeper, literally. A blade of grass grows its roots roughly in proportion to its height. Tall blades, deep roots. Short blades, shallow roots. So when you mow high, you're not just shading the soil. You're building a deeper root system that reaches the cool, moist earth further down, which means it needs far less water to survive. One move solves both problems from earlier at once. The heat problem and the water problem, fixed by the height of your cut. Now the clippings, when you cut high and let the clippings fall back onto the lawn instead of bagging them, they break down fast and return nitrogen straight to the soil. Grass clippings can supply up to 25% of your lawn's entire yearly nitrogen needs. That's a quarter of your fertilizer, free, every year, that you've been raking up and throwing in a bag. And that thin layer of clippings shades the soil surface and slows evaporation, so your lawn holds moisture longer between waterings. It feeds and it protects at the same time for nothing. One caution, so you do it right. Only ever cut off the top third of the blade at a time. Cutting more than a third in one pass shocks the plant and undoes everything. And keep your mower blade sharp. A dull blade tears the grass instead of slicing it, leaving a ragged, shredded tip that turns white and bleeds water out of every wound. A sharp blade makes one clean cut that seals fast. I sharpen mine at least twice a season now, and the difference in how the lawn holds up in the heat is night and day. This is the knowledge that got buried long before there was a fertilizer aisle. The men who kept the great lawns and pastures green did it with a high cut and by letting the land feed itself. Then the products came, and they sold us short mowing and bagging and quick green bags, because a lawn that struggles is a lawn that keeps buying. The old method never stopped working. It just stopped being profitable to mention, and now it's yours again. So which approach fits you? If you've got a small, tidy yard and not much time, method 1 is your whole plan. Mow high, leave the clippings, water deep twice a week, and skip summer feeding completely. You'll barely lift a finger, and your lawn will outlast every neighbor who's out there every evening. If you've got a big property or sandy soil that dries out fast, add the 1/4 inch of compost in late spring and that critical fall feeding, because your soil needs the extra help holding moisture and nutrients. And if you're the type who wants the thickest, deepest, most bulletproof lawn on the street, do all of it and put a sharp blade on that mower, and you'll have a lawn that laughs at July. Now, once you start mowing high and holding your moisture deep, you're going to run into a new problem, and I want you ready for it. A thick, tall, well-fed lawn builds up something called thatch, a spongy layer between the green and the soil, and if it gets too thick, it starts blocking water and air from reaching the roots, and it can quietly undo all your good work. If your lawn is starting to feel spongy underfoot, or water beads and runs off instead of soaking in, that's thatch, and I want you to tell me. Leave a comment with just the word thatch, and let me know how spongy it feels so I know how many of you are hitting this next. Because here's what I really want you to take from today. That green lawn under your feet was never something you had to buy your way to season after season, bag after bag. That knowledge was taken from you and sold back to you one product at a time, and now you've got it back for free. My next video breaks down exactly how to strip out that thatch without renting expensive machines or tearing your lawn to shreds, the same slow, old way that fixes it for good. Subscribe so it lands in front of you the moment it's out, because you're going to need it right about the time your lawn starts getting thick. Get watering and feeding and mowing right this week, and I promise you, this is the last July your lawn dies on you. I hope this helped you save your lawn this summer. This video was just the overview, but inside the Amish Garden Circle, I'll build you a deep watering calendar for your exact grass and soil. Ask me your own question, and a real person, me, answers you myself. You won't be doing it alone. Just point your phone's camera at the code on screen, and you can cancel anytime with one click. Now that you know what kills a lawn in the heat, let me show you the one simple thing to do every June that keeps your grass thick and green all summer long. It's starting right here.